صفوف النشيد الوطني للمملكة الأمريكية المتحدة.
England have a huge following here, but they've never beaten the USA at a World Cup. Can they tonight? You'll find out next. England know a win tonight makes them almost uncatchable at the top of the group, but the USA are looking to maintain their unbeaten record at World Cups against England. The USA gave Wales a rough ride in the first half of their opener, but couldn't sustain it, and the States know that lose tonight and they too will face a huge battle like Wales to stay in the tournament. Again deciding to take the knee, promote inclusion across the globe before the start of their second World Cup fixture. Former England right back and Arsenal double winner Lee Dixon is with me. England are unchanged, but how different will this game be to Monday?
Well, I think it'll be completely different. The boys in the studio have already touched on that. This USA team, I don't think, can play any different. High energy, high press. And certainly with McKennie, Adams and Usa, sometimes ferocious pressing, push the team forward. And I think England just have to be patient, I think, tonight, just to let the Americans burn themselves out a little bit like they did against the Wales the game before.
Well, England got off to a really good start against Iran, embedded into the game very quickly. They took command, and that's a nervous touch for Matt Turner, the Arsenal goalkeeper. Who created England's first goal on Monday evening. Adams gets it away. McKennie. Body swerve. Right, trying to run in behind the England defence. It's tidied up by Trippier.
Already a sign, Sam, that USA team, when they do get the ball, they'll try and use the pace and the power of Wright in between the full-backs and centre-backs.
Referee tonight, by the way, is from Venezuela. Jesus Valenzuela. There is Gareth Southgate, the England manager, who says England have to get both ends of the pitch right if they're going to be serious contenders. He was a little bit grumpy at the end of the game on Monday evening, having conceded 2 late goals.
Say that again. I saw him down the tunnel after the game. He wasn't happy at all, but just keeping everybody on the toes.
Tim Ream of Fulham running the ball back to Matt Turner, who's under a little bit of pressure from Harry Kane.
Some great performances the other night. Saka, Bellingham was absolutely superb. I think the start of everything good in the first half came from Mount. I think the little pockets he picked up in that inside left position just got the Iranians turned and running back to their own goal. That might be where it all starts again tonight.
Well, when England have played with a 4, they've usually played 2 holding midfielders. That's not the case in this lineup, or wasn't the case on Monday when Declan Rice played as the one single pivot with the 2 8s in Mount and Bellingham either side. It allowed those 2 to get up and engage. They might have a little bit more work to do defensively today. Certainly the USA will expect to have more of the ball. This is Walter Zimmerman. Now Tim Ream. Anthony Robinson. A bound down that left-hand side, engaged by Kieran Trippier.
It is important that Mount does help out a bit defensively, just looking across them. USA outnumbering England across that middle. Bellingham and Rice shifting across.
Press in the first half against Wales caused Rob Page's side quite a few issues. Have allowed England to have it on the edge of their own penalty area early in this game.
Yeah, the trigger normally comes a little bit time after the ball's starting to be passed around at the back. One of the players will just shout something, and nearest the ball goes, and then they all go together. They normally let the centre-backs have it for a bit.
Music to Harry Maguire's ears. He was allowed to start a number of England attacks. Him and John Stones, referred to by the manager in the press conference yesterday, is the platform from which England build their play. Shaw, just a little bit inaccurate with his pass. Serginho Dest of AC Milan. He's on loan from Barcelona in Serie A, but he's only started one game in the Italian league this season. That is a problem with a number of the USA team. They haven't had as many minutes recently as I think Greg Berhalter would like. Anthony Robinson's had a few under his belt at Fulham. Adams has two.
That's basically why they lasted an hour the other night. You know, you put that amount of energy into a game. Also, the Welsh changed the system and put them on the back foot a little bit, but they did run out of steam pretty obviously.
Pulisic. Musa. It's in the Arsenal Academy. Adams. I think Kieran Trippier might have to keep an eye on Anthony Robinson throughout the course of tonight's game. He likes to bound forward, get crosses into the box. Usually when he does go high up, Musa shuffles across into that left defensive area to cover for him.
That's where England can get out. They do press on the side of the ball a lot of blue shirts flooding into the around the ball, and if you can get through that first bit of press, like from that throw Harry Kane was out onto the other side, but then you've got to move it quick so they don't catch you back up.
Searching for Usa Wtachalong. Position was Anthony Robinson.
To watch those two.
Going into a tackle with Wright not coming off particularly well from it. We might want to lose him. He was the standout player, I think, in the game on Monday. Outside him, it's Usa Wtachalong, it's Harry Kane, and the deflection takes it wide. It was good defending. Zimmerman in the nick of time.
Oh, brilliant 1-2 on the edge, and Saka's away. The ball is almost perfect to his feet, and he just lays it back. It's great defending. Just throws himself at the feet of Harry Kane.
Well, the first England corner. Dead ball situations are England's trump card. They scored the most set-piece goals in European qualifying, 13, and outswinging corners in particular are a real problem. Maguire hit the bar from one against Iran. This is Trippier. Stones almost got on the end of that one. Maguire's done well to keep it alive. Still going, Harry Maguire. Still going, Harry Maguire. Chance for Mount. Is blazed over the top of the bar.
Well, who knew? Harry Maguire, left winger. It was Stones. The corner was directed to. Harry Kane just went chasing the ball, and great bit of skill. He really stumbled over it, but terrible defending from Adams. Just went for the dummy, and in the end, high and wide.
There's no getting away from it. Most fans probably don't understand how someone who has started one Premier League game since August for his club is the linchpin of the defence. Gareth Southgate was quick to explain why. Do you understand why?
Yeah, I think, you know, I've spoke to Gareth about it, and he likes the fact that all the defenders get on. They seem to like each other on the pitch. They've formed a bond at the back, and you have to say that Maguire is not letting England down. Very consistent.
As well,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And the fact that he keeps switching as well from time to time, 2 or 3. Harry Maguire just fits in that left-hand side, whether he's playing a wider centre-back or the left of a 2. But you also have to caveat that with both Stones and Harry Maguire at times can give you a chance. Also, Sam, what you have to think about is who else would you play? Because, you know, you have to have somebody waiting to take his place, and he's not been an obvious candidate, really.
Stone trying to get the better of Dest. Finding Kane. Chance to flip it out towards Bukayo Saka, but he was inaccurate with his ball, and that's not like him.
It's a good sign for England, though, that Ream doesn't really want to go short with Harry Kane, so he can turn in those areas. We know how good his passing is normally.
This is Musa. USA haven't won many games recently. 3 draws and a defeat to Japan since they beat Grenada in June. England's form wasn't too good coming into the competition. Bellingham. Now Trippier. Mr. McKennie seems to be following around Mason Mount like a shadow. It's a good ball by Stones. Bellingham. Trippier. And Saka might be in again here. Might pop up for Harry Kane, who went for the Richarlison. It's good from Trippier again. Combination between Trippier and Saka working really well down that right-hand side. It did the other night too.
Yeah, he's been the one 2 or 3 times now in that inside right position, just failing to pick out his man. How good was he the other night as well, Saka? To be fair.
Not overall, and it being his first World Cup start, scoring 2 goals behind Saka. Sharp in mind and body. He has the pace and goal to beat anyone.
Well, he's got a good one behind him. Trippier's experienced now, and he sort of pulls him around in front of him, making him do his defensive work when he's needed as well.
This is Weston McKennie. As for Juventus in Serie A, Tim Ream. Interception by Rice, but he might inadvertently have poked that out to Tim Weah. Stretched by Tyler Adams. It's going to be away by Harry Maguire. Harry Kane protected it really well. Saka. Bellingham. Shaw. Speaking to Gareth Southgate, he knew that tonight was going to be one of those nights where they might have to be a little bit patient. Shaw. Sterling getting it back to the Manchester United left full-back. Chance to drive it into the box, but didn't really catch it. And the break is on. led by Anthony Robinson, the left fullback. This is Christian Pulisic. Might need a little bit of help here. McKennie. Haji Wright is waiting in the centre. He's trying to get that header in and connects with the ball but misfires. A little warning.
Yeah, Maguire just putting his hands up as if to say we got caught a little bit short then, but good enough to just get in front of Wright. See the run going in, he gets there, but very difficult to get that back on target. But yeah, a little warning.
Flicking it on, Sterling hanging on the shoulder of Walter Zimmerman, who has been amongst the best defenders in the MLS over the last couple of years. He plays for Nashville. Here's Robinson, running into Saka first, then Trippier, and then Bellingham winning a free kick from Yunus Musa.
Good as Saka's been on the ball and those little runs he's making in the box, defensively he's just getting bypassed a little bit on this USA left-hand side. From Robinson out to Pulisic. Trippier's had a couple of words with him saying, I just need you to cut off the pass to feet.
First time the US fans have raised their voice and the England fans have responded immediately. There is a very healthy contingent here supporting Gareth Southgate's team. There's quite a few Americans as well. They've travelled in numbers. Local group behind the goal that haven't stopped moving since the whistle was blown. Didn't quite work.
No, there's that press. Not quite as ferocious as it was the other day, but I think they just realised that they're playing against a better set of players, so the press has to be a little bit more organised.
Wow. This is Kane. Saka wants to go beyond his marker, and Kane's got company. Shrugs off Tyler Adams. Now Saka, Bellingham. There's space over on the left-hand side if they can shift it. Not able to do that, England, and it's been robbed by a combination of Musa and Pulisic, and Musa's got it again. And there's space on the far side for the United States of America, and this is Serginho Dest trying to steer it into a dangerous area. It was the wrong ball. Pulisic loves to run and dribble at players. Where in by Dest, and the arms of Jordan Pickford go up. And he tries to encourage his teammates just to switch on a bit.
I'm pretty sure Gareth Southgate will be out into his technical area. Just have a little word. Got a little bit sloppy there. England got hit on the break. That's what USA can do to you. Good period of play for them.
Well, Gareth Southgate and Greg Berhalter are pals of sorts.
Hey, it's not allowed.
Well, they've put their friendship on ice for a little while, and Berhalter called him and asked him for advice when he first became the USA boss back in 2018. They've stayed in touch ever since. The relationship probably had to cool off, bearing in mind they were playing each other at the World Cup. Berhalter saying that he'd been sending Southgate a few WhatsApp messages but wasn't getting the double blue tick. No one wants to be ghosted. managed to win it back again.
I feel they're just lacking a little bit of a runner at the moment, England. Like patient build-up, they're playing quite high, the USA. Just every now and again, Bellingham's tried a couple, but no supply line.
Popping up on the right-hand side for England.
He's gone wandering for the ball because we haven't been able to get him into that little slot that he got into against the Iranians, just in between the two lines on that left-hand side. So he's come over to the right. Centre forward, and his footwork, his hold-up play, it's just brilliant.
Closing in on that England goal-scoring record as well. He would have been disappointed that he didn't manage to get on the score sheet when England scored 6 on Monday evening, but he did provide 2 goals for his teammates. Raheem Sterling trying to trouble Dest. Did cause him a bit of grief. This is Declan Rice. Is waiting over on the far touchline with his hand in the air, bellowing for the ball. It's gone the other way to Bukayo Saka. He isn't able to keep it in. There has been a debate about the makeup of that England midfield for some time. The perfect blend has never really been nailed down. Jude Bellingham, standout player on Monday, excellent without the ball and progressive with it. Mason Mount, as you mentioned right at the top, was really important, drifting into those half positions on the left-hand side, but he's seen very little of the ball in the opening 24 minutes of the game, and Greg Berhalter, I think, will be pretty pleased with the way the game is going at the moment.
Yeah, you have to say McKennie, Adams and Musa are doing a really good job just squeezing that space for him. But as we said at the start of the game, I think patience is a big word for tonight.
Maybe now that he drifts a little bit more into a central possession, Mount tries to influence things more. Pulisic has been able to continue despite a confrontation with Trippier. This is Weston McKennie. Tyler Adams. McKennie's got it back again. Reggie Wright waiting in the centre, so is Christian Pulisic. This is Musa. Dest. Where? Aimed in towards McKennie. It's over the bar. It's a cracking chance for the United States of America. Bit of a let-off for England.
Well, they refused a cross 2 or 3 times, and you think you'd put it in. There was an opportunity, and then they lay it back. And then just look at the far post. It's Trippier. McKennie just drops off, and in that position you're so close to the goal you have to go tight. From Trippier's point of view, no advantage to go towards your goal, just go mark a player.
Well, there's a lot of potential in this United States group. They are one of the youngest squads at the World Cup. They've been on a rapid development path in the last few years under Greg Berhalter. Since missing out on Russia, the the project is clear. They want to produce a team for when they host the World Cup in 4 years' time. That doesn't mean they can't be competitive now.
Just missed the chance of the half. Patient build-up. It's like, when are you going to cross it?
Des playing at Milan. Kenny playing at Juventus. There are a lot of players playing at Chelsea, Leeds and Arsenal.
When the ball comes in, you're so close to that goal, you've got to go touch tight, because at any sort of space, and there it is, Stones gets dragged towards Pulisic. Trippier has to be super tight there.
England got fortunate there as well. Free kick was given. The USA wanted to play the advantage. Challenge that happened after the initial offence that the referee had given.
That's too easy. That's too easy to get out. Sterling's looking over his shoulder going, am I going to press? What am I doing? A little bit of indecision when they haven't got the ball, England.
Pulisic taking it off McKennie. This is Robinson. McKennie's come into the penalty area now. Robinson again. Musa hits it. It's a deflection which actually didn't deviate the path of the ball too much, and Jordan Pickford was able to grab it.
That's his job to get out in front of his back four, but it's just a little problem. Sterling on one side, Saka on the other. 2 or 3 times they've bypassed that when they've been playing out from the back, and leaves England short in midfield.
Greg Berhalter was all praise yesterday. He said when they drew England that Gareth Southgate was making the shirt a cape rather than a straight jacket. Yesterday he was talking about being the manager being his mentor. And everyone says something nice about you until the whistle starts. Mount into a good position but couldn't turn.
Yeah, he will have expected someone a little bit tighter than they were, because it's the first time really he's gotten a dangerous position. Wasn't quite sure what was behind him.
Chelsea have had a bit of a sticky end to the first part of the season, and he had a sticky start to the campaign, but he did find his form at just the right time. He scored an ace goal against Germany. And he thrived in the game at the Al Khalifa Stadium just a few short days ago. Dest. Musa. Ringwell. Nudge it out to Robinson. Good touch by Pulisic, and Musa was threatening to get away. John Stones made sure that he didn't.
But there again, the press. Trippier coming out to Robinson. Too late. He's 5, 6, 7 yards away from him when he gets the ball and able to make the pass. England just off the pace a little bit when they're pressing. It's good play from the USA.
Half an hour gone. Still we await our first goal. Going long to try and find Wright, who is the second top scorer in Turkish football this season. the second target to aim at. Rice tries to pinch it. Mount protects it. Can't get away from Adams. Good turn by McKennie. Here come the USA again. There's too much room for him to run into. McKennie. This is Musa. Trying to shift it on to Pulisic. England backing off, and Pulisic hits the bar. Well, how many warnings do England need?
Yeah, senior players on there need to shake the rest of the team up, because it's just getting a little bit too much pressure for my liking. Great strike from Pulisic. On the other side, McKennie gets away. Rice couldn't stay with him. All of a sudden, England are on the edge of the box. Not enough pressure on the ball. Slight touch. Looks like from Pickford. But there's more than one warning, Sam. Just got to get a little bit tighter. The USA are enjoying a good spell.
Sterling trying to cause problems, but there's already a problem for Harry Kane. The free kick has been given to England. There's maybe a bit of respite.
Yeah, might be a knee in the derriere, an elbow, or he lands right on it. That'll hurt. Bone shaker.
USA look as if they're going to set up quite a high line here. They're usually very good at carving out chances from set pieces. This is very centrally.
Yeah,
what would you do?
It's a little bit too straight. There's men on the ball, looks like Harry Kane on one side and Stones on the other, so they've given themselves options to get the ball high and wide. Very difficult to get a straight ball over the top.
By Trippier, looking for Harry Maguire, who's hoping to re-centre the ball. Right, trying to clear. Gareth Southgate did just call over John Stones and have a word in his ear.
Greg Berhalter will be the happier coach right now.
John Stones is high up on this right-hand side.
Not anymore. He's off back. He didn't like it up there.
He's been playing as a right-back for Manchester City this season, and occasionally getting into advanced positions.
USA got a really good shape. The back line is pretty high because it's got those three protecting. There's no space in between those two lines. And the front three are pressing the back four from England. So it looks really good if you've got a blue shirt on at the moment.
Here's Luke Shaw. Mason Mount trying to weave a crossing position. A little flick from Bellingham doesn't come off. Still dropping in England's favour inside the box. Saka trying to keep it alive. Shaw's got it now. Mount looking for Kane, a little bit too close to Matt Turner, who immediately wants to dispatch the ball upfield to Christian Pulisic. Stones has got to be alert, and is.
Yeah, that's what you thought. If your last man, just keep your eye on everything. And he certainly did then. Pace of the ball, flight of the ball. Rare attack for England.
Well, Matt Turner was speaking yesterday, insisted his team had learned from the Wales game. And it does appear that is the case. They haven't gassed out as quickly as they did in that match. He said they'd also have to be better when they win the ball back if they want to score goals. They had chances after turning the ball over, but their final pass or effort on goal wasn't clean enough. They've had the two best chances of this game and haven't taken them.
And you have to say, England's pressing and USA have had the ball has not been particularly good. They've been a little bit late to everything.
free kick. Handball against Christian Pulisic. "36 minutes in, how has Harry Kane moved through those minutes? It was a foot problem, not an ankle problem. I think Kane was a little surprised about the noise over the last few days, but I think the concern was understandable, bearing in mind he's had 7 separate ankle injuries during his career.
Well, when you saw the replay, it did look like he twisted his ankle, but I think reassuringly, Karen was down there pitch side and saw that he was striking balls, no problem at all, so no real worry with that.
Tyler Adams trying to travel forward, dealt with by Mason Mount.
And if you think how many times you put your laces through a ball as a centre forward, it's not that often. He might get 1 or 2 chances where he's actually striking it like that. That might hurt a bit, but he'll put up with that if one goes in the back of the net.
Weston McKennie is winding up for a long throw into the England box. Went towards it. Maguire engaged. It's still not under control. Wright's got it now. Trying to twist away from John Stones, who did well. The USA have a corner.
Did a bit of a handful in his first half.
Goals in Turkey this season. Got 15 last campaign for Antalyaspor. Has already got 9 this season. So here's a goal threat too. Corner aimed in towards the near post, dealt with by Harry Maguire. Sterling being manhandled by Serginho Dest, and it was unnecessary really because he had backup. England lacking a little bit of tempo for you, Lee?
Yeah, all over the place, with and without the ball. I'm sure Gareth will have something to say at half-time. But as I said, sometimes you just got to give some credit to the opposition. Their organisation's been spot on so far. There's just no real spark in this England team at the moment.
Usa. Good pinch by Harry Maguire, but he's left space as he's gone to engage. Where he's got 2 waiting in the centre. At the back post, Pulisic is too heavy for him. And England now got to move it upfield quickly. Try and capitalise on a misshapen USA. Kane's found Mount. Saka wants it in the middle. Saka gets it. Look at the space out wide for Shaw on the left-hand side. If England can work it that way, that's a poor ball.
Right idea, poor execution. Nothing really coming off for England.
There he goes again, Dest. Look at Pulisic peeling off on the back post. Dest is going a long way. And the deflection takes it out on this near side for another USA corner.
I'll tell you what, Harry Maguire did well there, because he's left 1v1. Dest goes on the overlap and he's running at him. He's got to back off a little bit. Once he gets in the box, very difficult. He keeps his eye on the ball, doesn't get too square, just does enough.
England have been good at attacking set pieces for a while. They'll need to be on their mark defending one now. Pulisic. Pretty easy for Maguire to deal with. Pulisic got a lot of criticism actually for his corner delivery in the game against Wales.
Quite rightly too.
I'm sure there'll be a bit of criticism for England at half half-time. Things certainly need to improve. Usa Wtachalong. Space for McKennie, it's left for Ware. Then on to right. In by Dest, and the header is by Wtachalong, it's going wide. Jordan Pickford was well aware that it was, but there's too many holes in that England defence.
Yeah, another chance for the USA. Stop the cross. Didn't happen. Came in, Wtachalong off his shoulder. Just falling off the ball a little. But Gareth Southgate will be concerned because this first half has not been good enough from England. They've been off the pace. Lots of pointing. He's talking to Trippier now. Arms going all over the place, and Trippier trying to put his case for the defence. But they've just been second best all over the pitch for me.
Sterling. Saka. Lots of blue shirts back to harass England. Trippier. Bellingham. Look at the run of Mount. Didn't get spotted or put through. Shaw towards the far post. The Matt Turner is too big to see that sail over his head.
We've all done that.
Rice. This is John Stones. Saka. Now space for Bellingham, who's in behind Tyler Adams here, and then just hesitated, produces a cross which is dealt with by Dest. Fist past Harry Kane, almost went through to Sterling. Shaw goes through the legs of Serginho Dest, pulls it back, Saka over the bar. Now he's just a bit behind him and he couldn't wrap his foot around it, but that's England's best chance of the game.
Yeah, good play, good bit of play both sides. Get behind the blue line and get crosses in. It's just behind Saka, he can't wrap his foot around it. England fans acknowledging a little bit of forward play, which we haven't seen a lot of. England subs have been warming up for the last 20 minutes. Whether Gareth Southgate's got an idea of making a change at half-time, I don't know, but they've been warming up a long time.
There's a rare sight, one added minute. Shaw, fizzing that into Sterling, good ball onto Mason Mount, saved by Turner. Well, he got it out of his feet quickly.
Well, it's the first bit of link-up that Mason Mount's found him at the end of. It's a save he should be making, but he'd be happy he did. In the end, it looked a lot better than perhaps it was, because it wasn't in the corner, but hit with some pace. Better from England.
Mount denied by Turner. England have a corner kick right at the end of this first period, which has so far lacked a spark. Aimed in towards that back post, but Turner's going to come and grab it before it can reach Maguire. And that is the end of the first half. And we've already had 4-0 draws at this tournament, and it's only thanks to a crossbar and Weston McKennie's miss that we are potentially on course for another. The USA had the best chances in that first half. Mason Mount with a long-range strike, probably the best of England's offering. Our all-star cast are waiting to analyse that first half next. but it's been disappointing from England at the break. England 0, USA 0.
All the feelings of football, sponsored by Google Pixel 7.
Okay, John, so you're milking the cow just to see if it's as fresh as ITVX, the UK's freshest streaming service, with more new shows for free than anywhere else. Have a taste. How is it?
Delicious.
No, it's sour, it's disgusting, it's not as fresh as ITVX. Spit it out.
Really swallowed it.
Somebody get this guy some freshness.
Someone get me my agent.
It's time. Your new sleigh.
Still no runners.
And no driver. Welcome to the future, Mr. Claus.
I've always wanted to do that.
We'll have one of everything. I always wanted to do this.
I've always wanted to do that.
Morning, right. Well, what's in the periodic table? Elements, right. So what's next this round? Oh, what's going on, mate? Whoa. If you need anything, come see me. Year 11, 4 weeks until your exam.
Meters per second.
That's brilliant. Well done.
Nice one, sir.
See you tomorrow.
Every lesson shapes a life. Search, get into teaching.
There are some Christmas traditions we can't live without. And then there are new ones like...
Football.
Wow.
So this festive season...
Give me football.
Pass the salt, please.
Oh, Jesus has put it on a plate for her.
Football's more than a game in Arabia. It's a feeling, anticipation, excitement, exhilaration. To feel even more, visit Saudi Arabia. More thrilling, more spectacular, more authentic, more adventurous. Feel more from the home of Arabia. Visit Saudi.
Have you not seen my new phone yet? It literally folds in half. I would never switch to Samsung. I love my phone. What? It literally folds in half.
You see, I love my phone. I would never switch to Samsung.
Sorry. That's unique.
Embarrassing. I'm heading back on New Year's Eve for a party. You should come.
Myself!
Oh, take my number.
News of a £15 million lottery ticket still unclaimed.
Bravo, guy! You won.
At Cognac. At Flambé.
Be a bad time for the broadband to go down. Don't worry, Vodafone full fibre broadband is up to 5 times more reliable than standard. You did switch to Vodafone, right? Switch to full fibre 500 for just £30 per month.
Began well, certainly the first 15 minutes there in the ascendancy. Harry Kane's shot blocked by Zimmerman. That's how it went down in Somerset. But then the Americans, to be fair, really came into the game. Christian Pulisic, the Chelsea player, rattling the crossbar. No goal for the Californians to enjoy. But Roy, a proper game on our hands here.
Yeah, difficult for England. They've not got going. They look off it. The space is everywhere. Losing the midfield battles. They've been sluggish with their passing out from the back. Maguire's given away, kicked it out of play, and that would have encouraged USA, and they've obviously got a grip of it. They've had certainly the better chances. They've been comfortable. They've been neat and tidy. Big half-time talk from Garrett here, whether he panic in terms of making changes, but a bit of a reality check. England need to liven up.
They started the half well, England, and they ended the half well.
But that's the thing. You have to give America credit, USA, because like McKennie and Adams, they've been very good, and Musa, they've been very good, very tight. But we've given them the opportunity to be like, we're not passing it quick enough. And a couple of occasions that we have passed it quick, we've got straight into them. And so that's what we've not. That's not what we've done quick enough. You look at it. This is the kind of play that's going to break them down. Great passing to Saka, good 1-2. Jude Bellingham, good move off of him. Then Saka getting on the outside, and then now you're hoping that Harry Kane can put it in. That's a good block from Zimmerman. You have to give him credit for that. It's a good block. You know, he's got himself in a good position. But that's not too many times that we've passed the ball at that pace. Again, this is a good bit of play from Luke Shaw.
And this is right at the end of the half.
Yeah, this is right at the end of the half again. But we played it really quickly, got some great skills from him, and then just behind Bukayo there. You know, but this is the one. Look how far, this is where we've been in a load of times in that position of pitch. Quick, great pass through from John Stones. Again, that's a good pass from Luke Shaw. And now, bam, I think you should go across the goalkeeper. But that's what we can do when we do it quicker. That's what moves them. That's what gets them out of position.
Gary, it seemed not surprisingly, maybe for a lot of Americans, it took them 15 minutes just to settle down into the game and the magnitude of it. But when they did, they played really well, didn't they? And fashioned a couple of really good opportunities.
Yeah, we had far too many passes at the back between Harry Maguire and John Stones. Didn't get it through into midfield. Ian's just shown the one near the half. But their midfield three, Musa, McKennie and Adams, I think, have made our midfield three look sluggish. We were talking about Bellingham before the game, we talked about Mount. But they just put a group of passes together on that far side. It's funny to watch Harry Maguire here. I think he's really poor on this one. You've got to get that near post zone. Just watch Maguire. McKennie gets in. Harry just goes and marks. Just watch Harry. He goes and marks his man, which you can't do that. You've got to be that near post.
He creates the space, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and you can't do that. And Pulisic, I mean, they came into the game at this point. They were just brighter and sharper, and everything that we were doing, we didn't get anything right really in this period of the game. And you know, we know Pulisic's talent, massive talent. He's lucky here, Jordan Pickford. He's beaten there. It was a massive wake-up call that first half. We know that USA were very strong in the first half the other night, and they did weaken in the second half, and England will be hoping that happens here as well.
What's the key for England second half? Is it tempo?
Yeah, tempo up the passing, but even out of possession, there's gaps everywhere. They're not closing down as a team. It's been comfortable for USA. It's just get the distances right, a bit of communication, particularly from the senior players. Obviously, Garrett's pulled Stones up, towards the end, saying get higher up the pitch. Get back to the basics, right? Just too many spaces out of possession.
That was definitely the message that was relayed back to us. Gareth Southgate had said to them, get higher up the pitch.
Yeah, it was. And what we've got to be careful of is that I feel some of the times Mason Mount is going across too quickly, leaving a space in there for Tyler Adams. Then they get out. Bukayo Saka's going into, leaving Anthony Robinson to get up the side there, and then they're playing into us. We just have to get tighter with our pressing. We have to get it right.
I think Foden, I mean, I know he's not playing, but for Phil Foden not to be playing in England's starting 11, I think is a real shame, because he's a massive talent. I think he's our best player, our best talent by a mile in this country, and he should be playing in that team, really.
Well, if it carries on more like this, there's every chance I would imagine that Phil Foden will come on in the second half. We'll be back for that, but before that, a chance to win big in our competition with the prize fund currently over £40,000. Time now for your chance at home to win an amazing £30,000 and an extra goal-busting bonus. Every goal scored during the tournament will add an extra £250 to the £30,000 prize pot. Count up the goals and count up that jackpot. For your chance to win, just go to the website. Entries cost £2. Text GOAL to 80567. Text costs £2 plus your standard network rate message. Or post your name and number to GOAL22, PO Box 7558, Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrants must be 18 or over. Paid entry routes close at 10 a.m. on Monday the 9th of January. Good luck.
All the feelings of football, sponsored by Google Pixel 7.
Tis the season, it's always a real once bottled. Parfum, the new intensity.
Have you ever asked yourself the question, can you really count on your broadband? Or does it slither along? Or at peak times, if things feel a little constricted? With full fiber broadband from EE, you get the peak time speeds you pay for. Count on EE full fiber broadband.
Before the second half, did you know if you owned or leased a diesel vehicle between 2009 and 2020, you could be entitled to significant compensation? And at My Diesel Claim, we're experts in handling these claims. Millions of drivers have been misled by numerous manufacturers about emissions. And over 1 million people have already trusted us to file their claims. It only takes a few seconds to check if you're eligible. Visit mydieselclaim.com and join thousands of other fans starting their claims today.
Lane one, bro.
What you got?
This.
It's Christmas, man.
Who's next?
Me.
What's that, the higher score, yeah?
That's the difference between me and you.
All right, this is it, big man. You ready?
The Big Tasty and the Big Tasty with bacon. Now at McDonald's. It's Christmas after all.
This the biggest bounce of the summer.
Hey, 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 hey. If you're coming, then come, don't play, play. If you feel too shy, then watch for me. Watch for me, watch for me.
Shake it. This the biggest bounce of the summer. If you ain't coming, that's a bummer.
Watch for me.
This the biggest bounce of the summer.
FIFA World Cup.
We'll have live coverage of a trio of matches tomorrow with three of the biggest names in the game in action. Robert Lewandowski's Poland take on Saudi Arabia. France and Kylian Mbappe face Denmark. Argentina and Leo Messi need to bounce back from the loss to Saudi as they face Mexico. Argentina out if they lose. Phil Foden, were he to come on, who do you think it would be for, Gary?
I would think he may bring Saka up. I wouldn't. I think I'd probably change him for Mount and put him in midfield. I mean, that's one thing we know about the first game. England did have good options off the bench. Rashford, Trent Alexander-Arnold could come on. Foden, Grealish, and the USA were weaker in that second half the other night.
You could probably see where Phil Foden's skill and his ability in those areas could cause problems, But I would like to see that the same, obviously the boys start, and then we can just play like we know we can. Pass the ball a bit quicker, a bit more movement, and maybe take the chances when we get them. That's what we need.
Yeah, but there's also no need to panic. He has great options, but Garrett said before the game, he trusts these players. Sometimes, listen, give him a bit longer.
I'm just saying, England still in the tunnel. The Americans out there in a huddle. They're thinking, aren't they, Roy? Come on, more
But
of
they've had
this.
great encouragement.
There is a real opportunity
Yeah, of
for
course, but the
Americans.
initiative is up to England. They've got the better players, the better squad. They've got better options off the bench. It's up to England to turn up. They've not turned up yet.
Let's rejoin Lee Dixon and Sam Matterface then for the second half.
Cheers, Mark. Lots of political and moral issues have been highlighted at this World Cup. Some thought England might copy Germany's protest gesture today. It was never in Gareth Southgate's plan, but the FA have tonight lit up the Wembley Arch in the rainbow colours in support of the LGBT community. There is something tricky about the USA for England. It's the third meeting between these two sides at a World Cup, every one of them taking place in the group stages. USA winning in Brazil, massive shock in 1950, the 1-1 draw at the World Cup in South Africa in 2010, and both tournaments didn't end well. And England immediately have a problem to deal with Jude Bellingham going down after a collision on halfway. And that's left space which the USA want to exploit. Musa. Anthony Robinson and Declan Rice. Well, the last thing, Lee Dixon, that Gareth Southgate wanted was for England to start on the back foot again.
Well, exactly. Musa just having acres of space on the edge of England's box. As the lad said, I think the most important thing is to stay patient, but moving the ball quicker and all of that. You've got to run about as well when you haven't got the ball. Close the ball down. Close the guy on the ball down. Make his pass a rushed one.
I've seen Carl Walker just trot to the bench. He was in the dressing room a little bit longer than anybody else. He's coming back from an injury, hasn't played for a long time. Put pressure on Zimmerman and did enough to force him into a rather awkward back pass. That 2010 game was famous for a Rob Green mistake in Rustenburg, allowing Clint Dempsey's shot to squirm underneath him. The US had some recognisable names, 2 English supporters then, Altidore, Dempsey, Holden, Landon Donovan, Carlos Bocanegra, Tim Howard, all played in England in their time. Pressure from Mount, trying to upset Zimmerman.
Stuart Holden's doing commentary from USA, sat behind us, said he was going to give us a right good thumping tonight, so can't argue with him at the moment. Still 0-0 though.
Trippier. Second trying to return it to him, but he couldn't squeeze it past Robinson, and now the break is on for the States again. Pulisic dribbling menacingly. Right. Trying to get it onto his right foot, does that, blocked by Stones, comes back to McKennie. This is danger for England. And it's that threat on the counter-attack which has caused them significant problems already, which is threatening them again.
Yeah, they broke really well with Pulisic, and then this is good defending from Stones. Eye on the ball, just stays with his man. Your job there is to stop the shot. It's not been a massive improvement, you have to say. This would suggest at some point Gareth's out of his technical area that he, a change, or he'll just sit for a little bit longer, as Roy Keane said.
You may remember the second group game at the European Championships, was in which England drew 0-0 with Scotland. Wasn't a particularly eventful match from their point of view. On that occasion, a point was enough to qualify him for the last 16. Sterling looking for an avenue. Saw that Tyler Adams could be exposed, and it was good covering from Anthony Robinson.
Yeah, he was wide. Going to look outside him to the left, and then saw the danger inside. It's good full-back play. You've got to know when to come narrow with your centre-back, and that was one of those occasions.
Mount being tracked by Leeds United's Tyler Adams, the captain of the US men's national team. Who's thriving under Jesse Marsh at Leeds United. Now, bit of space for him. He's again covering. Pulisic. They're trying to get back. It's a US throw. The US coach Greg Berhalter has been speaking really positively about England in the build-up to the tournament. He called them a scary opponent and labelled them contenders for the trophy, but the first half was reminiscent of the most recent summer of struggle rather than England's last tournament campaign. Now they've got some room. And Robinson is struggling to get back. Bukayo Saka. And that's great covering from Tyler Adams. And he knows it.
Well, there's every right to stand up, giving himself praise, because Robinson was completely out of position there. Pulisic give the ball away in midfield, and Robinson giving an option high and wide. That just opened up the space for Saka. What a run from Adams to get back.
Maguire. Could have been costly for England. Tied up by Luke Shaw. Towards Mason Mount. Get it under control quick enough. The idea was right from England though, and it was another deft touch by the England captain to get them on the front foot. And England had a couple of nibbles at Tim Weah there.
The Luke Shaw one that caused the damage. That's why inadvertently steps right onto his left boot.
Trippier. Saka. Shaw coming inside McKennie. Good touch by Kane to drag it away from Tyler Adams. Frustrated that there weren't too many options available to him.
That's a great example of how well organised this USA team is. They beat the press, England, and then all of a sudden all the blue shirts are back in position. Huge amount of communication going on between the different lines of defence and midfield.
So how do you solve that problem?
Put Foden on. You need someone to break the line, you need someone to beat someone. every now and again England showed a little passes of play, the runner beyond, and they played a little 1-2 and got in. But there's not been enough of it.
Stones. Kane trying to hold it up. Couldn't do so. The second ball being won by the USA on many occasions. Saka penalised for coming in from behind.
It might just be a case of getting one of those players like a Grealish or a Foden who's going to draw players towards him because of his ability on the ball, just to free up a bit of space for somebody else.
The US playing well. And they are a side that have been on an upward trajectory. When we were speaking to Greg Berhalter before the tournament, he was keen to point out that this competition would give them a real measure of their progress. They won the Gold Cup last summer by winning 5 of their 6 games 1-0, beating opposition like Haiti, Canada, Jamaica, Qatar and Mexico to lift the trophy. But even from that team, it's a very different USA 11 that has started this tournament.
Imagine 4 years development on this group now that we see in the 11. It's going to be a force.
I'm sure Tim Ring will be around in 4 years. Here is Weah looking for Usa, interception from Bellingham.
That, Sam, is a very good point. Well made.
Could be 39. Problem with Mount and Sterling. It's just interesting to see when they have the ball, the positions that McKennie takes up. He'll drift infield, he'll be part of the 3-man midfield. Sometimes he'll be touching the touchline on this near side. Now he's scampering forward into a centre-forward position. Pulisic. Pulisic going for goal. Take a little nick on the way through, and it's going to be another USA corner, and Jordan Pickford is furious, absolutely furious. Listen to that roar that you can hear coming from the USA supporters. Couple of Captain America shields being shaken at Christian Pulisic. He is no longer the man who wears the armband. But he is their most creative player, and he almost picked out Zimmerman. It's a really good delivery, and Harry Maguire had to be his most alert. And John Stones and Maguire now having an inquest. Trippier's come across too. Musa's put the ball into an empty net.
Well, that's what he's there for, but thankfully he'd seen a little bit of danger behind him, got the flight of the ball. Zimmerman just steaming in, free header. Good defending in the end.
Had to be.
You just can't stop looking down, seeing what subs are warming up, saying, right, come on Gareth, let's change it.
Grealish, Walker, Henderson, Wilson and Rashford are all down there. Here come the United States again, and again they win another corner. And it's their 4th of the evening. The England backline look bemused. I think they like him. Towards that near post again, Harry Maguire has to come to the rescue. Pulisic, Kane, another corner. Now England have their backs against the wall, and Harry Maguire has had to clear at least 4 corners. And we've only reached the hour mark, and it's those USA supporters and are feeling as if their team most likely to make the breakthrough. Another delivery into the centre of the goal. Another Harry Maguire header. Ream keeps it alive. Pulisic in a bit of space. Pulisic trying to take on Harry Kane, back defending. And now trying to escape up the field, something that's not going to happen because he was never going to get away. Those England fans behind the goal away to our left are racked with a bit of tension.
5 corners Harry Kane's nodded out. It is his job, though, to be fair, centre half, but he is on overtime at the moment.
Maguire, don't give Kane all the credit.
Too many Harrys.
Dest. Wandering too far. Pulisic. England got close to him, it almost squirted through to right. Trippier across. And not penalised for his foul on Tyler Adams. Greg Berhalter straight out to snap the hands of his captain.
Maybe a substitution, not only to try and go and win the game at the other end, but also change the flow, change the energy levels, because the USA are on top.
And they believe it too. England are struggling to get out of their own half. Steve Holland and Gareth Southgate are deep in conversation, right on the edge of the technical area. Musa. This is Wright being shackled by Stones, and another corner is given. You get the feeling that eventually they'll make one of them work.
Harry Maguire wipes his forehead, sweeps his hair to one side because he knows what's coming in here.
Conspiratorial group on the edge of the England D, just plotting, trying to find a way to make the breakthrough for the USA. Zimmerman and Ream are a real danger. Saved in towards the back post, and Jordan Pickford didn't get near it. Zimmerman was coming, but not quick enough, and there might have been a little touch from Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, difficult one for him because he's not too sure. He hasn't got time to look over his shoulder, see if there's anybody behind him. Gets a little bit underneath it. Zimmerman wasn't going to get there, but he's not to know that.
And the pressure's building. And Pulisic has just gone over and tried to stir it up on this side as well. His corners have been better tonight. Sterling. Dest getting a little bit too handsy with the Chelsea winger.
Jordan Henderson just taking his bib off. Suggests they're trying to hold the fort a little bit more.
The other thing about Jordan Henderson is he's a senior pro, isn't he? He's someone who's going to get into those around him and try and lift the group. Sure. Grealish getting ready as well. wasn't set for it. He's got it back again. Usa Wtachalong, no one in the box to get on the end of that. Was a bit close to Matt Turner anyway.
Came in really quickly. Raheem Sterling maybe on this left-hand side and go in towards the 6-yard box. Bit of a surprise, England getting the ball into the box. They haven't done that for a while.
Henderson's ready. Grealish is just getting his England top on. Robinson dealt with that really well. Rice managing to clear under a little bit of pressure, but there's no out ball for England. England have won 8 of their 11 meetings with the USA. The last defeat against them came in June 1993.
Don't know what you're talking about.
They were very proud of that one.
Whatever.
Big changes for England. Raheem Sterling is being replaced by Jack Grealish. And Jude Bellingham is being switched out for Jordan Henderson. The first 2 changes that Gareth Southgate is making. What difference is it going to make?
Well, I think certainly midfield, I think Bellingham's been chasing shadows most of the night. So good rest for him. I think we know what Jordan Henderson gives you that stability in midfield. And it was either Foden or Grealish to come on, one of those line breakers who could just shake this USA back 4 up a little bit, beat a player, create something, because at the moment they're not creating an awful lot.
Harry Kane has had more touches in the England box than he has in the USA's box so far tonight. They need to find a solution to that problem. Henderson did have a word with Mount as he came on. Here is Shaw. Space for Grealish on the left-hand side, but his delivery was aimed towards Kane. Henderson trying to keep England on the front foot here. Liverpool man trying to steer it out to Trippier. Saka, Kane needs a runner beyond him. Squeeze it past Musa. Pulisic. That's what England have got to do, engage higher up the pitch.
Already you can see a difference. 2 or 3 minutes, they've had a couple of opportunities to put the ball wide, get the ball the edge of the box. They haven't done that at all in this second half.
Still going Grealish, it's good feet from him. Almost panicked the USA into making a tackle. Alright, wrestling with Maguire. Maguire's been penalised for being a little bit too physical.
Even that first run from Grealish, though, was 4 USA players got drawn towards him to try and stop him once he got into the box. A little flip of the ball inside to someone there. So already he's creating a little bit of danger in that back line.
best. Now trying to get back at him. Shaw did manage to engage. England ball. So back to 1993.
Thought I was going to get away with it. What happened?
Well, England lost and you were in the starting line. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It was the game that took place in the US Cup. It was the nadir of the Graham Taylor time. Do you remember that?
Yes. Is there a point to this, or is it just humiliation time?
No, I was just going to ask you whether or not that was the point that you thought that the USA started to become a bit more of a force on the world stage, because things changed after that, didn't they? They had the USA World Cup, the MLS started to kick into gear.
I didn't think that at the time, no. I just thought it may be my last time I play for England. How about that?
It wasn't, though, was it? You
No.
went on to have a very successful England career.
Sneaked a few more caps.
You weren't the only one in that team. Remember, there was the likes of Carlton Palmer, Lee Sharp, Gary Pallister, David Batty. All of them, I don't think, ever really lived it down. It was a bad day for England, bad day against the USA, and there was one in 1950 as well.
I didn't play in that one.
No, you didn't. The World Cup of 1950 in Brazil, and England went out to one of the biggest shocks of all time. Both actually the USA and England went out in that World Cup in the group stages. Example of them being a thorn in their side constantly, these tournaments. Here is Grealish into Kane. Can they reverse that? On to Grealish again. Stones is getting irate now.
A few signs from the bench, just calm it down. Don't need to force it. Get the ball out here to Grealish. Or Saka on the other side.
McKennie. This is Grealish. Mount. Good switch out towards that far side. This is Trippier.
To want England to win the game, but you just make sure you do not lose the game.
Saka on to Trippier. Now Saka again. Too much to aim at in the centre. Henderson giving it to him, and hold of it once again. Mount, Kane. Still going, Kane. Onto Saka. Couldn't get it under control, and then it bobbled off him after an attempted clearance, but I think the offside flag was going to go up anyway. Change coming for the United States of America, and Brendan Aronson is about to come on. Didn't start against Wales either, nor did Marcus Rashford, but he too is about to enter the fray. First change is Winston McKennie, who was a slight doubt for this game, picked up a knock in that Wales game. The problem for England is that Brendan Aronson is a very dynamic midfielder who will get up and down.
Obviously, Greg Berhalter wants to win the game. He is, and he'll link up with Adams, his teammate at Leeds. He's a firecracker.
Dest is being replaced. Had a bit of trouble on this near touchline, and surprise inclusion into the USA squad. Shaq Moore of Nashville, who was in Spain in the last 3 seasons before signing back to the MLS. He's obviously unhappy about being replaced, Serginho Dest. Bukayo Saka is off, and on comes Marcus Rashford, trying to influence proceedings from the right-hand side, as he did when he came off the bench the other day. Scored the third fastest goal by a World Cup substitute on Monday, 49 seconds after coming off the bench. Bit of that would be nice. You've won the double. You've won trophies with Arsenal. You've been in teams where patience has been key. As a senior player in this group, what would you be trying to say to some of the younger members of the team now?
Just keep playing, keep doing your job. Do not give anything away. You do not lose this game, and we'll get a chance before the end of the game.
Pulisic. The intervention by Declan Rice was imperative for that move to break down. There's only 10 minutes to go. And they need a little bit of leadership out on the pitch.
Actually, a lot of senior players out there when you think about it. Obviously, Sterling's gone off, but there's Maguire, Stones, Shaw's been there reasonable amount of time now. Henderson.
Mount. That's a good ball out on this near side of Where. How to come across. Harry Maguire is holding something.
Yeah, reaching down on the top of that lower back, top of his thigh. Hopefully just a kick.
Good from Kane. Declan Rice. Grealish. Rice wants it back again. The ball wasn't right from Jack Grealish. out to Wanda. To Kane. Needs a little bit of support. Trippier joining now. Rashford's made a dart into the box. It's Henderson. It's not a great delivery. And Matt Turner is underneath it.
He's been good. Turner with the crosses the whole game. Anything with any height on, he's just come out of his goal. Henderson does normally whip a brilliant ball from that angle, but he just gone underneath that one.
Matt Turner, who's played for Arsenal 4 times now, and he's only conceded once. That was a penalty. More. Two more changes for the USA. And Tim Weah is going to be replaced by Gio Reyna, son of a former World Footballer of the Year, George Weah, the president now of Liberia. Replaced by a man born in Sunderland, Gio Reyna, who could have played for England by birthright, but was never really going to. He is the son of Claudio Reyna, who used to play for Rangers and Manchester City. He's come roaring back from injury to play. His mum was also a famous USA international. You saw a shot of his dad. Josh Sargent is also on for Haji Wright. Sargent having a good season with Norwich City in the Championship. It's better pressing from England, but it's been beaten by the USA.
It was a nearly press, just off it again, and that's why they got out so easy.
Grealish has won a foul, and England, as a result, will have a set piece in a dangerous area. What would you do here?
Stick it in the mixer. Get in the box.
It's got to that level, has it?
Maguire's just won 6 corners at the other end on his own. Let's hope he wins number 7.
It is a feature of England's play, one that they haven't really maximised in this evening's game. Towards Maguire, dealt with by Tim Ream. Ream himself has had a bit of a resurgence after being one of those players who seems to play well in the Championship but never gets an opportunity or gets pushed out of the team when they get to the Premier League. He has performed much better this year under Marco Silva, and he's played a lot of games. Every one for Fulham this Premier League season.
I saw him the other week against United and he was fantastic. He looked at home, really confident. He lost the game, well that wasn't his fault.
You mentioned it earlier, I suppose the key thing here is that England don't lose this game.
Absolutely. You take the point if that's the case. You get 4 after 2 games.
There was a bit of a reaction when England drew 0-0 with Scotland in the second game in the Euros. You remember that? Look what happened next. Look, it's not worth getting that pessimistic, is it?
Well, you have to remember that if you get a point, you're stopping the opposition getting 3. So, based on the fact where the USA find themselves, they want to win this game.
group stages often racked with tension for England managers. They rarely glide serenely through. Going back 8 years, 2014, before a ball was kicked in the third game, England were already out. Scrapped through in South Africa. They weren't perfect at Euro 2016 or 2012. It's only latterly that things have been a little bit easier for them. Kane finding Rashford. Rashford trying to tiptoe his way into a dangerous area. Grealish. Back to Rashford again. Trying to bend it towards the far corner, but it's very close to Matt Turner. No real trouble for the American goalkeeper.
Yeah, you could see what he's trying to do. Good overlap from Shaw just to create a space for himself to put it on that right foot. Couldn't quite get the bend on it.
Good to have Marcus Rashford back in the England fold after such a long time out.
Yeah, really good. Concentrating on his football. The real asset, he's got that pace, and when he's hungry and he's playing well, he's one of England's top strikers.
Gareth Southgate went to visit him in the summer to his house to have a 2-hour meeting, clear the air and find out exactly what the problems were with Marcus Rashford. For a long time he was not really joining up with England even before the European Championships. Reina. Maguire brings it out. England looking for a counter-attack, but there wasn't really a threat on this side. Kane is not going to outpace Zimmerman. Turner had to try and outpace Mason Mount.
Luckily, Mason Mount ran 50 yards in that press and run out of energy.
Here's Josh Sargent. Into Pulisic. Danger signs flashing for England once again. Moore trying to pick out Reina, who just drifted back from the penalty spot.
He's got to knock that in first time. The space was there for him just to whip it right along the 6-yard box. By taking a touch, it closed all the space down.
And there is a little bit of good news, because if it stays like this, then England will qualify if they avoid a 4-goal defeat against Wales. England could lose 5-0 to Wales and still qualify for Iran and USA draw.
That is good news. It doesn't cover up the poor performance tonight, though. We've got to take it into context. Got to play better moving forward if they indeed do go through. Second best all over the pitch, with and without the ball.
Well, Jordan Henderson has won a free kick. The other problem here, Lee, is also has an impact on squad management, doesn't it? Had England won this game, Gareth Southgate could rotate his cast. They've taken a free kick quickly, and it's dealt with by Moore, and they've won a corner kick right at the end of the game. We're into stoppage time, of which there will be just 4 added minutes.
All will be forgotten and forgiven if this creates an opportunity for England.
Kieran Trippier just trying to engender the support of the crowd behind the goal. And he wants to suck the ball into the net. England have committed a lot of men forward.
I've got a feeling.
Seb, you're right. Aimed in towards Maguire, who heads it down and didn't get enough purchase on that header. Done so well at the other end with his defending of set pieces.
There's the guy in front of the goalkeeper. Where's your Ian Wright when you need him?
He's getting ready to analyse what has been a rather drab England performance in large parts. Given away cheaply, and Grealish is on the run now. Adams has come out to engage. He's been terrific for the USA tonight. That's a push in the back that was unnecessary. And Musa has conceded a free kick in a dangerous area here. So Luke Shaw taking charge, creator of Jude Bellingham's goal on Monday in the Al Khalifa Stadium. And perfect pinpoint delivery is required.
Good time to score.
Shaw. Indeed towards Harry Kane, and he got up there and he got so very, very close to piercing the Matt Turner net.
Well, he did everything. He was a little bit low down. He's just dipped his head, try and get something on it. It's come right off the top of his head. Great ball in from Shaw.
Was a cracking chance, the best chance I think that England have fashioned. There haven't been too many. 3 attempts on target all night for England. Most of them Matt Turner has been equal to. I think that everybody who's attended the Al Bayt Stadium north of Qatar was expecting a little bit more than this tonight, Lee.
They've managed the game really well, I think, the USA. They burnt themselves out the other night, but they've been more controlled tonight. Maybe because they're playing against better players, and so they've had to be. But the midfield three and the front three, they're closing down, and discipline has been fantastic. Back line has done a good job as well. And a chance now maybe to nick all 3 points.
Pulisic down the side for Gio Reyna.
That free kick, so I'll just take the point one. They didn't even want to put it into the net, into the box.
And there is the point, a point for the USA. I don't think it was the greatest entertainment. The supporters inside the stadium certainly voicing their concerns. The performance from England will just temper the optimism that followed Monday's rampant display